Hello everyone, my name is Cute Little Angel, and today I'm bringing you another video. Today we have a commission, which means we do have a guest, but before I can properly introduce our guest, I have to address a few things. For one, this took a while to get out to you guys, and I do apologize for that. Not only were we having some conflicting schedules, but I also got sick and was dying for a full week, so I apologize that this took a while. But I hope from this point on I'll be able to get content out to you guys again. And with that, we can finally start talking about the actual piece that I got to do, thanks to our wonderful guest who commissioned it, Obbie! Say hi, Obbie.
Hello. How's it going, Angel?
Yeah, it's going good, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, this character I made, she was for a website I go on. And I made her in conjunction with my fiance. Actually, we were just
really?
we were doing Angel Abbies. So we were trying to match each other and basically create sisters, if you will, or something similar like that. It was quite fun for us to try and match each other with our colors and the items we were using. It was it was fun. So that's usually what we do, is we actually try and match each other sometimes, or we'll have a theme, and that's where most of our like OCs or avatars come from.
That is adorable. I didn't know that was the backstory of this character. Oh man, now I feel honored that I drew her.
Yes, I've actually been thought about doing a couple piece at one point, but unfortunately the funds weren't there.
Aww.
But maybe in the future I'll be back as a guest another time for us to talk about a couple piece at some point.
Oh, I would be honored to do that too. No wonder you have such cute OCs. You're always pairing them. That's adorable.
Yes, it's something I try and do, and it's just fun. Kind of brings out my creativity when I'm trying to make things with her.
That is awesome. That's some couple goals right there.
I know. It's quite fun. So I know I had some questions for you. What got you into drawing? Because you have a very interesting style. It's not one that I've really seen from other people. So I was always curious as to how did you go about getting into drawing, and what helped you form your drawing style, if you will?
That's a nice question. I'm glad I'm good at answer it. Yay. So when I was a child, a young baby, my brothers used to actually draw a lot. They used to draw rough, gruff, soldier dudes, but whenever they got a chance, they would always draw me cute things, the little SpongeBob characters on your ice cream wrappers, stuff like that.
Okay.
They would always draw stuff like that for me, and it just really always got me excited whenever they did that. So I decided to pick up the pencil and paper myself, and I started by drawing my stuffed animals, and then it eventually turned into cartoon characters that look like Timmy Turner and characters from Fairly Odd Parents. And then I eventually found out about anime and how wonderful anime is. So then my style eventually turned to anime, and with a few classes from my art, from being an animator and having some art classes in that major, I eventually came to this style. That's slowly developing to be realistic as I keep on going.
Yes, I was gonna say, I noticed that some of your other pieces before this one were a bit more anime-ish, and this one seemed to be a bit more realistic proportions and such, if you will. And I was really happy with how it came out, as well as the previous one you did, my little icon that I've used on Twitter. So
yeah, my other favorite piece of mine is from the series. your three-eyed girl, if anybody wants to know what that one was.
Well, I'm honored that you liked or you enjoyed drawing both of them. So, um,
It's funny that you actually mentioned that you noticed that this one was a little bit more realistic than usual, because one of the conflicting problems that I had when I was sketching this was that I wasn't really a fan of how I was previously drawing my eyes. They're a little bit more anime before this piece. And if you
yeah,
kind of can tell, the character's eyes for this one got just a bit more like regular people pupils
yeah. I was gonna say I
or
remember
eyeballs, whatever.
um, I was comparing it to, I believe it's the piece with the girl standing on water. That's kind of what I was comparing it to. And as you said, her pupils were very large compared to this one's. And I also noticed like you did very well with the posing of this pose as well, or of this piece as well, with how she was coming down from the sky and how you had her posed. It's not something I've seen a lot of artists do, is showing me the 3D model or 3D pose that you were going to be trying and using.
Yeah, I think when I first tried to draw it, I did try to do it by myself because I had gotten at least one comment before saying that I do perspective really well when I try it on my own, but I just couldn't get her right, so I had to pull out the Zine doll again for this one.
Well, it was I enjoyed that you were able to pull it up and like kind of show me ahead of time the pose that you were gonna do. It's something, like I said, something not a lot of artists that I've commissioned from before have ever done. They usually just send me like a rough sketch, if you will. But it was really interesting that you pulled that out and used that program to show me the pose ahead of time.
Huh. I never knew. Like, I haven't gotten the chance to commission other artists myself because, I'm just trying to earn money and like save money. So I didn't think that was a not common thing. Like, the commission's all about what you want, so of course I want to make sure the pose is exactly what you've envisioned in your head and stuff.
Yeah, it's not to say that they don't ask about poses. It's just specifically how you go about it before actually starting the drawing and cementing it, if you will, into the process. You're able to pull up and use that tool. It's something that, not like I said, not many other people use.
Oh,
Yes.
dang, that's really interesting. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I feel cool.
it like I said, yeah, it was really interesting. Now, out of curiosity, what programs do you use to actually go about drawing and creating? Because I know there's there's Photoshop, there's a whole bunch of other different things that people can use. Yes, programs that people can use.
Well, it's nice that you asked that question because now I have the entire canvas like square instead of the entire art program on the screen now to save time on editing. But I use Paint Tool SI mostly. It's one of my favorite art programs because it's a lot more simple and to the point. When I first got Photoshop, which was my first art program that I ever like actually really tried to work on, it was really confusing, and since I was just starting out as a digital artist anyway, it wasn't really fun to try to figure out what everything was doing while trying to figure out how to do it to begin with. So Paint Tool SI is my main go-to because I already have it like mastered. Like, I probably shouldn't say mastered, but I have it more comfy, And then sometimes if I don't have like anything really to do for the background, I'll put it to Photoshop and I'll add like little effects to the character, make some like drop shadow and stuff like that. So Photoshop for the main stuff, Paint Tool SI for the main stuff, Photoshop for some later effects if I feel the need to.
Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, like I said, I know there's so many programs out there that it's always interesting to see what people use and what they try and do or what they do with each program, if you will. Now, did you have any questions for me?
Well, like, you kind of... See, I already showed you my list of questions, sir. So, you did answer some of them in the beginning with, like... Well, I guess I could still ask this one. Do you have any backstory for her besides, just making OCs with your wifey?
As of right now, not really, but I usually try and, when I do create a character or an avatar that I enjoy, sometimes I'll kind of turn them into a character and try and envision them into various other things. Kind of like, I play a lot of Pathfinder and D&D, so sometimes I'll create something or a character that I enjoy looking at and kind of make a backstory for them and try and create them actually as a character in something else or a character in another game, and use that as inspiration for other things. Because unfortunately I'm not a great drawer. My wifey is a good drawer. She does really good chibi stuff. So she's the artistic one, but I try and be imaginative, and it's fun using the characters I create and using even the drawings that people draw of those characters to kind of expand on their own backstory, or create their powers and such, if you will, by my own imagination and the creation of others.
Oh,
yes.
Man, that's cool. I'm glad I can be one of your artists that makes your characters have a little bit more life to them outside of your, as people probably noticed in the beginning, your refs for me are little chibis from the game that you play.
Yes, it's from like a forum website where you can kind of dress up avatars and stuff. Some people have heard of it. It's called Gaia. It's a very old like anime site. I was on it since way back in 2004. I came back recently with my lady friend, and it's very fun to use the stuff that they have there to kind of create your own little characters.
You definitely have made some pretty cute OCs, my friend. I love drawing your OCs. Like I said earlier, your three-eyed lady is one of my favorite pieces of the year, just because of how cute she came out.
Yes, the Pop-Tart Queen, if you will.
Wildberry Queen. I forgot.
The Wildberry
gave her a proper
Queen.
title.
This is true. Yeah, I have plenty of them, and it's not just girls. I have plenty of guy characters. I even have some. I have some Pokemon themed characters and stuff as well. I have plenty of stuff that I can eventually be on here talking with you about.
Man. Don't make me like blush on my own stream. Come on, dude.
I'm trying. What can I say? Now you were I know one of the questions you had for me was like, is there anything about the piece that I might have changed? And
yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot for that question. Like, you don't have to worry about critiquing me on my channel. Don't worry, dude. Go ahead, go for it.
No, it was more of actually, I noticed some things that prior to, it was just the way how the site works and the items work. I realized that some of the hair was actually in front of the wings, and I feel like if I had noticed it, having the hair a little bit behind the wings would have been interesting, because you'd have the wings kind of popping out more, and I guess it'd make them feel more like they were actually moving and at proper wings. Just something that was more on my end, actually, not on your end. As far as critiques go, I didn't really have any problems with anything. I think the piece looked amazing. You did a very good job with it.
Well, I'm really glad. I am beyond happy to make sure the piece is as perfect as I can make it for anybody I'm working for. That's my number one goal, and I lose sleep over it, literally. Don't judge me.
I won't judge you. I do remember when this was happening, you had constantly come to me, be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm trying my best," and I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. Take your time.
Oh yeah,
I'm in no rush."
this was giving me trouble because of that conflicting issue where sometimes when your art style is changing and you want something different, but you don't notice or realize that's what you were feeling. That's what I was feeling when I was sketching her out, and that was the eye comment I made earlier, and it was the worst until I figured out that's what it was.
No, yeah, like I said, I'm always I try and be very understanding with artists, because I know it's kind of crazy. You're trying to please someone else, but also please yourself with how well you did on a certain project or how well you did on the piece itself. So I know how crazy it can be and how stressful it can get.
Yeah, you're a really understanding commissioner from my experience. I have yet to really get a bad person commission me, but since you're like one of my first ones, you have been a complete sweetheart about anything that I come to you about.
Hey, I mean, you're doing this for me, so the way I always look at it is the nicer I am and the more helpful I am for the person I'm commissioning, the better the piece is going to come out with in the end. So why wouldn't I try and help out with you and help you create the piece that I want anyways? There's no point in me trying to be rude or trying to rush you and get something lesser than I would want, if you will.
Mm. See, this is why I love drawing your OCs. Besides them just being super freaking adorable, I'm jealous.
Now, I try. What can I say? Now, I guess I have another question for you. Is what is your process? Like, what's your artistic process? How do you go about creating or go about drawing, like from like your rough draft to final product?
Well, I usually work really hard on making sure the rough draft is as perfect as I envision it, so I don't have to do a lot of breaking away from the sketch when I'm doing the line art, like I did with Marina, if anybody can remember that. So I try my best to get everything settled in the sketch alone. That's why there's so many steps to the sketch. There's a rough skeleton, then there's the body over that, then there's color shape block out over that, and then there's another body over that, and then there's the actual detail. I work really hard on the sketch first, and then I make sure all the lines and the details are there when I'm doing the line art. And then the coloring, I try my best to make sure it's popping, it has all of its details that I want, and things like that. There are often times where I actually scrap the coloring or some lines just because I don't like how they came out at first, and I try again and again and again until I like it. So I take a long time with pieces just to make sure it's as good as I see it in my eyes.
It's always a good thing to do, and it's very interesting. I guess one other question would be, what's your favorite type of commission, or your favorite type of character or animal, or what, what's your favorite archetype of character to draw? If you do you like drawing angels? I know you're a fan of the Kingdom Hearts games, so do you like drawing things from games or anime that you enjoy?
Well, I don't really have a favorite type of commission. It just comes with what am I drawing, what am I doing. For example, right now one of my commissions is a chibi from Final Fantasy XIV. or the characters from Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm really excited to work on it because I just really had a really good it's just a really good character to draw, and I'm excited to put it into chibi form. But as you can probably tell from just my content, I draw a lot of girls, and I prefer to draw girls just because I have a lot more understanding of the bodies of ladies. So, though I want to try drawing more guys, especially buff boys, because I'm not really good at buff boys. But I do prefer drawing girls, and I have this little kind of tick when I'm drawing Kingdom Hearts characters that, since I love the series so much, I want to make sure the character comes out great. So, when it comes to drawing Kingdom Hearts characters, I'm just a little bit more anal and perfectionist about what I'm doing, and that's a funny thing to mention because that's actually a later piece that's gonna come soon, I hope, when I get that video done. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm excited to see, the videos of the characters you're drawing coming up, especially the Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy XIV one, both games that I enjoy playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think those are all the questions I really have for you, because you answered everything that I was interested about, how you drew and the process of your creating the wonderful commission that you did for me.
Aw, well, thank you. You had really wonderful questions. I just gotta say that.
I was happy to be invited on as your first guest, so I wanted to try and do the best job I could as your first guest for your commission Speedpaint videos.
You were so paranoid too. You did wonderful.
Well,
it's like the best video ever.
I'm glad that I did good. I was quite nervous about this and hoping I don't mess anything up. Or didn't mess anything up.
You did wonderfully.
Well, that's good.
So, I think we have time for one more question, and I shall ask you this, because you've been filling up the runtime, my dear sir.
I'm sorry.
No, it's alright.
Shoot.
I like that. So, for our last question, how do you like this piece compared to the last one?
I mean, I love using the first piece you did for me as it's my Twitter icon now. But I absolutely love this one. It came out really well. I was excited for it because I was really happy with the character that I made, that particular character, and how I made it. And it like from you, even though I've only done 2, it's probably currently my favorite piece from you. Including some of the other stuff that I've seen you do, like your Marina and some of your other pieces as well.
Yeah. Well, gosh darn. I was really honored that you... I know I keep on saying honored. I'm just really glad that you came back for round 2, because I'm still kind of new to commissions, of course. Like, it hasn't even been a year yet, but I like working with the ideas of others and their characters and whatever they want to see me draw, because when you're wee babe artists and you're gonna start something new like commissions, a lot of people like have these warnings and like things to look out for when you're about to start, and some of those are you may not be a fan of what you're drawing for the person. And so far, I know it hasn't been long, but I haven't encountered that yet, because every single time I get somebody new who commissions me, it's always an interesting idea that I really look forward to doing. Like, every single commission so far has been something I've been interested to do for some way, shape, or reason why. And yours have always been some of the tops. For example, I never did Three-Eyed Character before you came to me, but look at that. She looks wonderful.
She does look wonderful. And I'm glad, I'm glad I'm able to give you pieces that I guess, challenge you and have you do things that you haven't done before, and of course that you enjoy doing. I would never want to give a character or a piece to an artist that they really didn't want to draw or enjoy drawing. I feel like that just wouldn't make them do their best on that particular piece in general. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Oh, is that why you brought her over to me? Because she's an angel and I'm an angel?
There might have been a tiny bit of correlation with that there.
Well, she's a lovely angel with beautiful wings that, yeah, they kind of stick out. Oops.
Hey, I like how they stick out, so there's no problem there. Like I said, there isn't really anything wrong with it that I could see.
Well, thank you so much. So, I'd also like to thank the lovely Patreons that make these videos happen. They fund me and are cute and awesome, and I love them to death. If you would like to Patreon me as well, there will be a link in the description, and you can check out what I give as rewards there. So, without further ado, Obbie, my dear, we are done. Do you have any final words for the viewers, for me? Do you have anything you want to leave for now, until next time?
Nothing other than go support Angel on Patreon and give her all your monies so she can draw more amazing arts.
Not all your money. Please be smart about it, please. Don't make me worry.
No, all the monies. Give her all the monies.
No.
Don't spend money on any of the new video games. Give it all to Angel.
Well, I guess he's gonna leave us with that. So, my dears, thank you all so much for watching. I'm so glad you could join us on this video today, and hopefully the next time Obbie comes on, it'll be just as fun as today. But without further ado, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day. I love you all, and bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.